day or night, it's the talk of San Diego.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I'm joined today by Radio Jack. We're here today at the Coffee Corner in Linda Vista. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, let's get ready to do TV.
Perfect. Yeah, a little bit different than internet radio.
Yes, it is.
So tell me, what exactly do you do then, Radio Jack?
Well, Radio Jack is kind of the brand that my wife came up with, and I do radio, all different types of radio on all different types of stations. And you'll have to excuse me, Samantha, if I lean into the microphone. I'm so used to talking on the radio, but I started years ago as an air traffic controller. You want to hear a little of that?
Oh, I would love to.
All right. United 386, you're clear to land runway 35, altimeter 2996, traffic is assessed on final approach.
Here, I'm always like, we're 20 minutes to land. Please re-seat yourself and buckle up.
Buckle up.
The captain has put the seatbelt sign back on.
Yeah.
No using the restrooms, it's against federal law.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, I used to do that before I got into radio, and when I moved to San Diego, somebody called me up from a radio station. I was doing a photography seminar at the time, and I said, well, what's your proposition? And they said, well, our proposition is if you can get a sponsor, you can have your own radio show. And so for 5 years I had my own radio show. Shutterbug Magazine sponsored it on the internet. So I'm kind of the guy known for getting internet radio started here in San Diego. We got up to 3 million listeners there every month, and then they switched to these cell phone apps, and so we can't count them as well. But now we still do internet radio. We have about 300,000 downloads a month. I do 4 shows at WS Radio. I do the San Diego's finest business radio show. And you can ask me what that is.
Oh, what is that?
That is where we interview small businesses. So we talk to them about what makes them so darn good at what they do. And they seem to like that, and it helps them get their word out. I also do a show called Go Navy Radio. We're a big Navy town here, and yeah.
We used to Alaska, so we're a little bit more the Air Force town or Army town, so completely familiar with the...
Well, I like Air Force. That's where I came. That's where I learned air traffic control.
Ah, yes, yeah. You know.
Yeah. What Air Force base?
We were up at Eielson and at Elmendorf.
Elmendorf.
Were the two that we were at.
My supervisor was stationed at Elmendorf, so there you go. Yeah.
Well, that's fun. See,
yeah.
San Diego isn't as big as I thought it was.
Yeah, no, we have a connection there.
I think one of my last shows, I ran into someone who knew my brother-in-law. They were on the same rugby team.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow. Well, what's interesting about internet radio is you can do any kind of targeted shows. We actually did a rugby show. Yeah, when rugby I think they had some sort of a championship here in San Diego a while back. So we did a show about that. We've connected with the astronauts up in space. We've just done just about everything you can think of. I did the first live show from the Seattle Space Needle, and I also interviewed Buzz Aldrin on the Zeppelin.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we were launching a series of traditional AM stations for the Washington Times. So yes, I'm very old, and I've been doing this probably before you were born, but I really appreciate internet TV, and I thank you for inviting me on the Talk of San Diego. Also, I wanted to mention that my Go Navy show airs on WS Radio as well. And I've had the privilege of interviewing the commanders of the Marine Corps and of the United States Navy, of the Coast Guard. So it's been a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of interesting moments interviewing some of the top people in our military command.
Definitely very informative then, helping out for anyone who's a little on the edge of wondering if they should commit to service for our Navy or where to go on that one.
Yeah, I actually interviewed one of the nuclear guys last night.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was talking about he's now recruiting people. They're looking for people. If you know anything about nukes,
No, I don't. I know my mom says that I set one off in my apartment every now and then with the way it looks, but...
Yeah, I remember those days too, yeah.
I think it's just a light hurricane, but...
Yeah. Well, I can talk forever because that's what I do for a living, but I'm here to answer your questions, so...
Well, we're here to get to know you. So, you have the 2 stations that you've already stated, but you also work with 2 others as well as an AM radio?
Well, I also, once I started doing shows and I had quite a bit of success, I won the Talkers Magazine Award, and I was able to book out all my sponsors. The station came to me and said, would you like to sell advertising and radio shows? And I personally believe anyone can do radio, so I do some coaching. I help people who want to do radio, and having a face for radio, I just fell in love with it, and I wound up creating commercial spots and advertising, and that just grew into other radio stations because not everybody wants to be on the internet. I don't know why, but they're
the fastest way nowadays with this generation.
That's where everything's going. That's
it
where
is
you
all
need
on
to
the
be.
internet now, so not very many people tune into the radio on their car anymore because they don't want to listen to the commercials, so they plug in their USB driver and listen to Pandora or what. Now they've gotten into that with iHeartRadio, so the stations that you really do enjoy, you're able to connect onto that little app as well. So
yeah, that's right. And not a lot of people know this, but the new cars that are coming out, you have to order AM radio as an option. It's not available automatically
AM radio
anymore.
is no longer automatically offered.
The new
You have to
cars.
order it in new cars. So 2014 or 2015?
2014.
So anytime you're going shopping now for a new car, you heard it from Radio Jack. If you want an AM listening experience, you'll have to order it extra.
But they do have the internet automatically. So
internet automatic, AM radio not.
And I should cover my bases. It may not be in every single model for all cars, but I know that that's the way of the future. That's the way it's moving right now, and we were informed by that by our chief engineer a while back. So.
And you have to watch out. 8-track's gone, cassette player's gone, CD player's gone.
Happens.
Now you just get internet and Bluetooth.
It's happened. I didn't even know you were old enough to remember all those things. Wow.
May not be old enough, but I was raised right. So
yeah, there you go.
Got to experience a lot of fun. I still have an old floppy disk for the computer that's set up as well, but the old vinyl record players as well. Very fun listening to those.
Wow, gee, that's impressive. I don't even have any of those anymore, and I know I'm older than you, but that's great.
The benefits of having a hoarder in the family.
Okay, yes. So, but anyway, so radio in San Diego is beginning to embrace the internet much more than they ever have before, and that's why I recently wrote an article. It was published in a couple hundred websites across the web. KFMB picked it up, and so did the Union Tribune, which of course I would expect that because San Diego's Finest Business is a Union Tribune show and has been for a while. But anyway, I wrote the article about the future of radio and the internet, and it was a lot of fun to see everybody pick it up and pass it around. Even Channel 8 picked it up. So
it's always fun when they find those things that actually air something that's worth getting to know and going along with that. So where can people go specifically to find these articles as well as your San Diego's Finest Business Radio?
Yeah. Well, they can come to WSRadio.com to hear any of my shows because they archive shows there, which is a little bit different. Most traditional radio shows just archive briefly. Most traditional radio stations archive briefly. But WS Radio has like 22,000 archive shows. And
that's very impressive.
Yeah, and they also archive them on iTunes, so you can go to iTunes and listen to some of the past San Diego's Finest shows, some of my old Shutterbug magazine shows from the photography days that I won the Talkers Magazine Award. They can email me, wsradiojackbiz@gmail.com. You can also Google San Diego's Finest Business Radio, and all kinds of things pop up. And if you know the name of a person that I've interviewed and you Google their name, likely their interview will pop up as well.
Perfect. So since I missed that nuclear talk last night, I'll be able to go check that out and be able
Right.
to enjoy that or any other ones that tickle my fancy on that one.
Right, right. And I know you're a fitness expert, so I'm going to invite you on my show, and we're going to be able to put your name up there as well as one
Well,
of
that'll
San
be
Diego's
fun.
business. Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much, Radio Jack, for joining us and expanding our knowledge base, or soon to expand your knowledge base. So visit the site, learn a little bit more about San Diego and the goings-on of internet radio. Thank you for tuning in to the Talk of San Diego. Have a very lovely day.
Thank you.